My Shayla! Oh my goodness. 3, 2, 1. Say, fortunate to have you, girl. I'm so glad that you're in my world. Just as sure as the sky is blue. I am blessed. Oh, I bless the day that one more time, say, fortunate to have you, girl. I'm so glad you're in my world. Just as sure as the sky is blue. I bless the day that I found you. Hey, yo, welcome back to another episode of the Arts Block Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry III. Oh, I am saddened. I am saddened. Listen, guys. Before I even get into my story, if this is your first time watching, hello, I'm your host, Eric Curry III. Please do me a couple of favors before we get into this. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast that is on YouTube. If you're watching this on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. Listen, like I said, I am saddened. I'm sad. And y'all, I found out some really bad news. So it's this girl that lives in my building. And she looks amazing. She's amazing, right? I've only talking to her about twice. 3 times, maybe. No, twice. I only had talking to her twice at all, right? While living here. But I thought she was the one. Now, this is why I'm saying I thought she was the one, right? And this is delusional Eric talking, right? Only talked to her twice, super delusional. I know. People looking at me like, Eric, I know. Let me tell y'all why, though. Listen, let me tell y'all why I thought she was the one and how I know she's not the one no more. The reason I thought she was the one, the first conversation we had on the elevator, I saw her. She walked in the building. I said, dang, she bad. Hold on. Let me just start conversation. Just see where this goes. I started conversation. I looked at her. I was like, okay, you dress real professional. She told me, whoop, whoop, whoop. We talking on the elevator, chopping it up. Next thing you know, we both asked, what's your name at the same time? In my mind, delusional, I thought it was fate. I thought it was fate. I was like, oh yeah, she's Mrs. Curry. On God, I thought she was everything I loved. I thought she was Mrs. Curry. Wait, hold on. But it gets worse. So today I'm downstairs. I'm talking to my girl Deborah at the front desk. Shout out Deborah if you're watching. I was talking to her at the front desk. We talking, chatting it up. She comes off the elevator downstairs. I'm like, oh dang. But the first time I didn't even recognize her. I was like, damn, who is this coming off the elevator? I just said, she's like, hey y'all. She coming downstairs. Hey y'all. I was like, oh, it's you. This must be meant to be. That's what's going through my mind. This must be meant to be. So she talking. She's like, oh yeah. My people's outside. I'm going out. I was like, oh, all right, cool. Told her have fun, whatever. But she steps at the door. She just yells, oh, what happened to such and such? The lady at the front desk was like, are you talking to me or are you talking to Eric? She was like, I'm talking to both of y'all. I was like, oh, now she's including me in plans. So apparently they made plans to go out and she's including me in those plans. And I was like, oh, Lord, this is going great. God. I've seen what you've done for others. And now you are providing for me. He is a provider. Amen. Slow your roll, Eric. This is where things get tricky. This is where things get a little sticky. No Tyler, the Creator. Boom, right? She asked me into like a group chat. It's her, this other girl, Deborah, front desk lady, because I guess they was supposed to go. And she added me in the group chat, right? So she added me into the group chat and she texted. She was like, yeah, I think we should go to the spot on this day because, I think we need to go to the spot before this day because I'm leaving on this day. And why is the day in a couple weeks? I didn't even have time with my stink. Who's not my stink? She's like, I was about to say she doesn't know I exist. No, she for sure knows I exist. But I don't even have time to be with my stink who's not my stink. I don't even know if I'm going to see her again after she's gone. I'm distraught right now. So I'm sorry if this podcast is a little all over the place. I'm distraught. My heart is hurting. My heart is hurting right now for all my stinks. I'm stinkless. If you're watching this and you're stinkless, don't worry, babe. We are in the same boat, stink. We are one in the same. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, what are we talking about today, though? Today, we are going to touch on a plethora of things. We're going to talk about how Druski is a literal genius. Then we are going to talk about how the parallels between hip-hop media and NBA media and how the media needs to fix itself. And then we're going to talk about Kanye and the game. All right, I already went down my whole run, my whole spiel. Why I'm in my feels this pod. I'm in my feels. I'm in my feels. Let's just jump straight into it. First thing on the docket. Listen, Druski might be the smartest person to ever person. He might be the smartest person ever. Let me tell you why. Listen, Druski is literally innovating the reality TV show game with Could Have Been Love. Now, I've seen what he did with Could Have Been the Could Have Been Records House, right? If you don't know, Druski has two reality TV show series. He has the Could Have Been House, which is like his Could Have Been Records and people trying to get a record deal. But now he put out a new show called Could Have Been Love, where he is trying to find love with like all of these contestants, and it's like an amazing show. It's very entertaining, super good. But the one thing that like messed me up while watching it, right, is how many parallels and how it looked so close and how it reminded me of like so many old reality TV shows from back in the day. It reminded he has the Bad Girl Club phone because I don't think nobody can have their phone on like the premises of the thing, right? So nobody can have their phone. So you got the Bad Girls Club phone where people can call their families and talk mess and whatever, right? But then he also has like pieces of flavor of love in there with the eliminations and the dates and all of that stuff, and it's bringing that nostalgic feel of reality TV. What reality TV was, it was purposeful. It had storylines. It had great storytelling, right? It had drama. It had all of the things instead of just fighting and messiness. No, it had real storylines, and this has real storylines. And I was like, yo, how can a comedian, and not just trying to like label Druski as just a comedian, right? Because he does way more. But how does a comedian think of something so genius that is, one, entertaining, two, I'm all for the tomfoolery, and it's tomfoolery like no other. There's no other show tomfoolery like Could Have Been Love right now, right? But also the storyline is really great. And again, there is still coonery. There's people fighting. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's people got rodents in their room. They got like roaches and cockroaches and like flies and bugs all in their room. It's crazy. They're really dirty on there. But at the same time, it's a level of entertaining where it's not like, I call this hold on, what did I write down? It's the perfect brain rot. This is what Druski's show is to me. It is the perfect amount of brain rot. It is the brain rot that you would want your kids. Well, no, you would not want your kids to be watching. But this is the brain rot that you will want to intake. Be like, okay, if I just want to watch something, or if I just want to put on something that's like super ghetto, there's no reason for me to watch this, but at the same time, it's good. It's a storyline. It's going to keep me captivated. It's fucking hilarious. Could Have Been Love is that show that you want to watch. Listen, and as I'm watching it, I'm like, yo, like the things that he's doing on this show is literally genius. Like, so everybody for people who don't know, Druski has this like, and Druski plays things so well. I don't know if this is a bit or if this is like his real life, if he like really likes studs or not. But Druski has this thing with studs, and like he like he's going after them actively on the show. So he brought young MA to question the studs to see if they really want Druski or not. Like, that, to me, that's genius. He has a lie detector on the show to see how committed people are to him. To me, that's genius. They went out to the club one episode. He brought a girl from the club back to the house, and now she's on the show. And now we got to see how everybody adapts to this new girl in the house. To me, that's genius. But everybody on the show has the main goal. Well, there's two goals. Druski, you get a chance to be with Druski. I don't even know how that works. I don't know how that works, but it's $50,000 on the line too. So if you win, you get a chance to like go with Druski, but there's also $50,000 on the line. So there's a purpose to why you're doing this. There's a reasoning to why everything is happening on this show. People are fighting for something, whether they want Druski or not. I know damn sure them people on that show want that $50,000. So I've also like, okay, these give people, like, people have motivation. Like, I think of this stuff as theater, because that's basically what it is. It's basically just acting. It's basically just theater, right? It's theater, it's loosely scripted theater, right? There's things that you want to hit. There's points that you want to hit, especially with relationships, especially with storylines, right? But it's like wrestling, right? Like very loosely scripted theater. The way that it goes, the way that it flows, that's scripted. But like the things that are said and things that are done, some things you just can't write a script for, right? That's what I'm getting from his shows, and that's why I like them, and that's why I'm sitting here like, oh snap. Like, I know it's like huge, like we not rocking with Diddy right now, but Could Have Been House reminded me of making a band, but just individualized, right? It was like the rap game for older niggas meets making a band. Like it was one of those, and it was crazy, and it was crazy good. But for him to capitalize off of a Instagram live, for him to do the Could Have Been Records thing and capitalize that off of an Instagram live and make that into a reality TV show, not only is that genius, but him capitalizing the Ruby Rose relationship, right? And her saying, "Oh, I was only with him for money, and he paid X, Y, and Z to be with me, or I would never be with somebody like him," whatever she said, right? For him to capitalize that and turn that into a TV show and turn that into an opportunity, he is the epitome of if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So I think back, right? I said back, because I always gotta be like, well, as an artist, what X, Y, and Z, right? As an artist, X, Y, and Z, and right? So I think as an artist, how much do I do when it comes to turning lemons into lemonade? What do I do, right? Well, how much do I accomplish turning lemons into lemonade? And to be honest, I don't know. I feel like we talked about this a couple pods ago, actually. We talked about this a couple pods ago. How do we turn lemons into lemonade? You're shitting me. I don't know. I get the lemons, and like I said last pod, I get the lemons and I start throwing them back. I start fighting back with the lemons. But he is getting lemons and he's literally making it into lemonade. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna let these things happen to me, but with these real life situations, I'm going to make the most out of it. And that's all he's doing. All he's doing is making the most out of the real life situations that's happening with him, right? People say, and I often say this, y'all, I have an assignment that I have to do for this class, right? And for this assignment, all I kept saying was like, oh, I'm not inspired. I can't draw inspiration from nowhere. Oh, my mind is blank. Oh, I'm not in like a creative mood, right? He is drawing inspiration from his real life. He's taking things that happen to him in real life and making art out of that, right? How much can you do from the stories that are happening in your real life? How many stories can you tell? How many shows can you make? How many scripts can you write? Just give me an approximate number of how much do you think you can do with all of the things that you have at your disposal. In my opinion, I think a lot of you guys can do a lot more than what you're doing right now with all of the things that you have in your arsenal. To be honest, I think you all can do a lot. You all are very talented. I've seen some of you guys work. However, a lot of you guys are losing the fact that, man, art can literally come from anywhere, and y'all are searching for inspiration from here, there, when inspiration can come just from your daily life, from you going on a walk, from you hanging out, from you just seeing things, from you being in that relationship. That's why I never understood people who like get their heart broken and be like, oh, I'm never going to do this again. Oh, I'm never going to fall in love again. One, yes, you are. Stop lying. Stop lying. Yes, you are. Stop lying. Stop lying. Yes, you are. That's number one. Number two, I would love to get my heart broken again. You know why? My best art came from me doing that and that getting done. Actually, I actually would not like that. Actually, no, I really hope if I get into another relationship, that thing better be the one. Because if not, then it probably will be over. I'm not gonna lie. Over like Drake. Real talk. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. So I think Druski's a genius, and what makes this solidified to me even more, right? His most recent skit. His most recent skit was it was a skit about woke people. He was like, man, woke people literally like think too deeply about everything, right? And it was this guy who was super woke, and like as I'm watching the video, I was like, yo, not only is he using the correct definition of woke, by the way, not like what white people want you to think woke means, but like the correct definition of woke, and like what we black people think being woke is, and like how funny like the people look to us, right? But also he described them so well. He's portraying them so well. And he does that with every skit. And I think it's about time that we start having conversations about Druski. I think it's about that time we start having those conversations. I really do. We need to start having those conversations about him. Like, he is truly, for our time, my generation, he's truly one of the best that is out doing it. I don't know too many people that are doing what Druski is doing at his level, number one, and at his capacity, because he's able to do a lot. And Druski, this nigga is a walking meme. He's like a walking advertisement. He's a walking billboard. Like, I don't even know how he does it at this point. It's like funny things just happen with him. Like, it just happens. He's naturally like that. He can naturally get a clip. You can naturally get a meme out of him. Like, Druski at All-Star break is genius. And then a week later after All-Star, no, same day as All-Star, he released Could Have Been Love, which is even more genius. So like the rollout for that, like, again, I think we need to look deeper into Druski, like rather him just being the comedian, but him being like a genius and a mastermind when it comes to planning and getting things done. Shout out to Druski, man. He is one of those ones. The perfect brain rot is what I call it. He has perfect brain rot, and I'm here for it. Next thing on the docket, I really dislike the media. As much as you all know, I talk about the media a lot on here, and I talk about my dislikes on the media a lot. And a lot of you be like, how do you dislike something that you're a part of? I know. Just because I'm a part of the system doesn't mean I like what the system is doing. I'm just a product. I'm just a product of my environment. That doesn't mean I like what the environment is doing. That just means I come from the environment. Listen, I'm a product of my environment, of my media and journalistic environment. However, I do want to change that. You know who doesn't want to change that? People like Stephen A. Smith. Now, LeBron James recently in a post-game interview said they asked LeBron basically about Anthony Edwards saying that he wants to be the face of, not Anthony Edwards saying that he doesn't want to be the face of the league, which to me, I got what he was saying. Most people in the media did not understand what he was saying, but apparently LeBron understood what he was saying. LeBron is quoted to say, why do you want to be the face of a league when all the people that cover our game and talk about our game on a day-to-day basis shit on everybody? Obviously, I didn't ask for it. I understand. This is weird energy when it comes to that, right? And then, not only that, LeBron also took to Twitter and he made sure that he pointed out a lot of the flaws that He made sure that he pointed out a lot of the flaws with the media today. He said exactly by the way, for context, Stephen A basically got on his show and was bashing LeBron and bashing what LeBron said and was like, oh, this is why LeBron would never be the GOAT, X, Y, and Z, right? So LeBron went on and said exactly my point. But anyways, happy this convo started. It ain't about the face of the game. It ain't about one person or one show. It's about the culture of basketball, the most beautiful game in the world. Our game has never been better. Incredible young stars from all over the world and some older ones. Steph Curry should be all over the news. Steph Curry should be all we are talking about today. This is right after Steph dropped like 56 points or something like that. Let's discuss how great OKC and the Cavs have been this season with two completely different styles and break down why and how they have. Of course, if players don't perform, we need to discuss that and break that down too. Even that can be discussed in a way that is not that does not bring finality to that player's game, but leave room to see how the player responds, and let's watch the journey of the player. This ain't about me either. At this point, I don't really care about what's being said about me. It's always something. Blah, 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 right? I say if you replace the word basketball with hip hop, it applies the exact same to me. If you replace the word basketball with hip hop, it applies the exact same to me. Niggas love the past too much. Cameron says, he says something on his podcast. It is what it is. Shout out to the is what it is crew. But he says something all the time on his show, and he says people are prisoners of the present, right? People, because it happened recently, it's almost like recency bias, right? That's basically what he's saying. People have recency bias, but he says people are prisoners of the present. Like, because it happened so recent, we forget about the greatness that happened in the past. I think the exact opposite. I think niggas are so obsessed with the past that they cannot appreciate what's happening right now in this present moment. But I also don't think that he's wrong. I do think this is a situation where two things can be true at once. I believe that people in hip hop media, especially the older guys, right? Their standard of hip hop is at a high level, as it should be. They had Pac, they had Big, they had a Young Hove, Young Nas, DMX, Snoop Dogg, who else? Warren G. They had Dr. Dre, Cube, Westside Connect, and down south was popping. They had the whole Goody Mob. They had Outkast. They had Master P and Hot Boys down in New Orleans. Everybody was popping everywhere, right? And it's a lot of talent that happened during that time in the past that people look today and be like, oh, what's happening today isn't cutting it, right? However, I do think that even though there are a lot of people out today that aren't necessarily to the caliber that these guys want to see, that doesn't mean that they aren't good or they aren't of a certain caliber. I hate culture talk in art specifically, but I'm going to keep this hip hop. I hate culture talk. I hate talk about, oh, the culture is this, the culture isn't this, the rules of engagement are this. And especially since hip hop is so young, and when hip hop started, a lot of the guys that love hip hop now were also young with hip hop, so they saw hip hop grow from literally the start to where it is now. Like, the niggas that started hip hop are still alive, I believe. So hip hop is super young. So the niggas from when it started in like the late 70s, early 80s to now, niggas have literally watched the trajectory of the art form, of the skill, and have been a part of it for longer than I've been born, longer than probably a lot of y'all have been born, and been listeners and fans of it for just as long, right? Cool. However, I think people don't understand that the culture is steady changing. The culture is always changing around hip hop. A lot of you niggas want the culture to be the same. A lot of what these sports niggas want. A lot of people, when they talk about sports, they be like, oh man, you know, when it came to my era, my decade, Michael Jordan is the best because he had to deal with harder competition, and they had to do the hand checking, and they was elbowing each other, and it was WWE and basketball all in one. I could watch two sports in one, right? That's how people talk. Again, in hip hop, but to relate that to hip hop, people was killing each other in hip hop. People was rapping grimy and greasy. If you was in the streets, you was really rapping about the street stuff. You wasn't doing X, Y, and Z. Man, rappers was really rapping. They had real bars, X, Y, and Z. Just a whole bunch of niggas spewing old nigga shit, right? And I understand, because that's the time that you grew up in. So that's the time you think is the best because you grew up in that time. But at the same time, you cannot miss out on the greatness that's happening today because you are so stuck on the critiques and the standards of fucking 1996. The rules aren't the same. Music is not the same. The genre is not the same. The rappers aren't the same. The shit isn't the same. The technology isn't even the same. Niggas not even recording the same way they recorded in 1996. Why do you expect the music to be the same? It doesn't make sense to me. People not even making music like they did in 1996 no more. Y'all expecting for the music to be the same like it was 20, 30 years ago. What are we talking about? That doesn't even make sense to me. So when it comes to culture talk in hip hop, and when it comes to people being like, oh man, the culture is this way and it needs to stay this way, and these are leaders and pioneers of the culture, and these people, yeah, I understand all that, and I understand a lot of the guys looking at the culture and being like, okay, this is what I grew up on, and this is how I want it to stay, and I understand that too. But at the same time, your old ass cannot be so fixated on what you want it to be that you're missing out on the greatness that it is. Be focused that the sport is being elevated to new heights. Be focused on the new dope artists out there. We speak so negatively about the genre, myself included at times. Well, mostly I speak negatively about fan bases and stan culture. I don't believe I speak negatively about artists at all. I feel like I speak very objectively to artists about when it comes to artists. But we speak so negatively on artists, on what they put out. We judge what they put out so quickly. We are not good consumers of the art. But it comes with the niggas at the top. So who's ever at the top of hip hop media, whoever is that guy, whoever is that girl, whoever is that person, or all those people at the top of the game, they are setting the precedent and example of how you consume this art form. So if you are the president and example, not president, fuck it, y'all know what I'm trying to say. If y'all are the example of what the art form is supposed to be, or how we are at least supposed to consume the art form, but all you can do is speak negativity on the shit, then how else is the culture supposed to move except in a negative light? That's why I think this brings me to my next point, right? The Kendrick and Drake beef is one of the worst. Again, I said this on the pod too. I said this on the pod too. It's one of the worst things that happened in hip hop. Not because the music wasn't great, not because we didn't get great things from both artists, not because we got to see two of the top guys compete for the top spot, which was amazing, right? Not because of none of those things. It's not these guys' fault. It's the consumer's fault. It's our fault for adding unnecessary bullshit fuel to a fire. And not only that, but also that being the only driving force of hip hop conversations even till today. That's the main thing driving the boat. Even till today, that's the main thing driving the boat. That's the only thing people care about. They don't care about nothing else. They just care about that. People posting about that. Kendrick fans talking shit about Drake. Drake fans talking shit about Kendrick. Instead of both sides being like, all right, we won, we lost, or we won, we lost, or whatever the case may be. And being like, all right, cool. We go in our corner, we talk about our stuff. Y'all go in y'all corner, y'all talk about y'all stuff. But no, it's like all of these cultures, all these fan bases and community groups are intertwining, and it's becoming super toxic. In my head, it's starting to hurt watching you guys interact. It is. It really is. But that's the culture. That's what the culture is. The culture is really toxic. The culture is really, really toxic. When it comes to being a fan of certain artists or certain people, the culture is really, really toxic. And I can't blame nobody else, but I can't blame the artists because they're just doing what they feel is right. I can't blame like the labels. I can only blame us as fans for not appreciating what we have now. That's the only thing. Like the only thing we can do is appreciate what we have now. Younger fans and older fans. Older niggas, appreciate the OGs. Go back and listen to Illmatic. Go back and listen to Reasonable Doubt. Go back and listen to The Blueprint. Go back and listen to DMX. Hell is Hot and oh fuck, what's that other X album that came out that same year? I can't think of it right now. But go back and listen to all them niggas. Go back and listen to Straight Outta Compton. Go back and listen to Easy Does It. Go back and listen to all the Hot Boy albums. Go back and listen to all the Master P mixtapes. Go back and listen to the Jermaine Dupri mixes. Go back and listen to that stuff. Please go back and listen to it so you can know where the culture came from and you can respect it, right? However, old niggas stop acting brand new. Like Tupac ain't have a nose ring too. There's a Hove bar for everything.
Appreciate what y'all have today. Stop acting like all of these things that's happening is brand new, like y'all didn't see it back in the day. No. Appreciate what we have today. Appreciate the music and the artists that we have today. Appreciate, like, one of the reasons why a lot of artists don't want to go to like radio no more, or don't want to do like traditional media things, and they're starting their own media companies and sites, and they're doing their own podcasts and hosting their own interviews, right? A lot of the reason that those things are happening is because you older guys who are in these positions don't appreciate the art that was made way back when. Or I mean, not way back when. You guys don't appreciate the art that's appreciated today. That's made today. You guys don't appreciate the art that's made today. That's why a lot of these newer guys don't feel comfortable going to y'all platforms. Or if they do, they go to the same ones. They recycle them. Because again, y'all not making these places safe spaces for people to go. The young people to go. That's why radio is dying out, to be honest. Not only is streaming and things taking over, but radio is not even a market per se. Radio is not even a market for media when it comes to artists doing their media runs and tours and stuff no more. Artists are going to podcasts now to do that, right? Instead of, if you're not like one of some of the biggest radio, if you're not Big Boy, if you're not Sway, if you're not Flex, if you're not Breakfast Club, are artists coming to your radio show to talk to you? Are you, but at the same time, are you making it a safe space for artists to come to talk to you and do those things? And even in some cases, Breakfast Club and Breakfast Club, Sway, Flex, all of those guys, they sometimes, big boys, they sometimes slip up too. They're not perfect. They just make it a safe space for the artists to come. Well, Sway does, Big Boy does, Flex, Breakfast Club, they're just like one of the biggest platforms. So all artists have to go through Breakfast Club. I wouldn't say that it's a safe space, but that's just like artists just have to go through there. So yeah, like what are we gonna do? This is why I'm so adamant about change in the community, and that's why I said I want to be the spearhead of the change in the hip hop media space and community, because I feel like there needs to be a young nigga as the face. I just do. I just think there needs to be somebody young as the face of this, and who's a better face than mine? Like, what face is better than mine to be the face of this thing that we call media? Who, like, I don't know who. What other young guy? I'm 19. Means I got time to get better, to evolve, to improve. I got time to grow with artists, to also see younger artists. I'm old enough to mess with the older artists. Like, bro, like, there needs to be a new face of this thing that we call hip hop media. There needs to be new guys ushered in and the old guys slowly ushering out. Because if the culture keeps being in these old niggas' hands, we're going to be in trouble. Lord, we're going to be in trouble. Speaking of old niggas, last thing on the docket, The Game and Kanye West are disrespecting Tina Knowles. So if you don't know, Kanye and The Game I think they're releasing a new song. And the rollout of the song has been wild. So these fools thought it was a great idea to sample. Well, I think in the song they're sampling Tina Turner, but they're also sampling Tina Knowles. Yes, the Tina Knowles, beyond the Miss Tina Knowles, I should say, Miss Knowles. The Miss Knowles, Mrs. Knowles, her. They're sampling Beyonce's mama in the song, which isn't a problem, but how they're going about it is crazy. So they posted Jennifer, y'all know how Jennifer Hudson's show, they do like the little walk, right? The little walk out. The guest does the walk and they do the songs, right? So Miss Knowles, she did one. It was amazing. It was great. Kanye West posted that joint on Instagram. He posted a clip of that joint on Instagram. And he said, yeah, Game gonna take that for the team or something like that. He said something like that, like Game gonna take that for the team. He was like, whoa, what are you talking about? Whoa, what are you talking about? Then he posted something else on Instagram. It was a DM to Miss Knowles, and it was a banana peel that was unpeeled, And it was no, it was a banana that was unpeeled, and he sent it to her. And Kanye said, "This is Game's DMs." And Game posted like co-signing that. Y'all niggas is too old, man. Y'all are too old. You niggas, y'all are 50. See what I'm talking about? Old niggas. Y'all are 50. What are you doing? Y'all are 50. Y'all are 50. I know for a fact Kanye's 50. I know for a fact, I'm not even going to look it up. I know for a fact Kanye's 50. Game has to be like in his 40s or something. He's damn near 50. He's pushing it. Game got a young ass daughter, like a baby, like an infant that was just born. Like she has to be like a couple months. And you still doing that. What is up? What is up with y'all? What is up with the OGs? You listen, man. The OGs ain't OGing. The OGs don't even respect their elders. The OGs don't even respect their elders. Listen, the OGs not OGing no more. That's why you got a whole bunch of YNs. I can't blame the YNs no more. At first I did. I was about to say, oh, the young niggas, we gotta get it together. We gotta do XYZ. But the OGs not OGing no more. There's no more OGs outside. And that's because the OGs are scared of the young niggas and they think, oh, well, they're not gonna listen anyway. But you supposed to OG anyway. You're not supposed to only be an OG when niggas want to listen. You're supposed to be an OG no matter what. The OGs don't OG no more. That's why I gotta blame it on the OGs. The OGs don't OG no more. That's why the game's fucked up. Y'all, the OGs in the game are doing this. They sending bananas to superstars, to megastars mamas. They're sending bananas to Beyonce mama. What are we doing? What are we doing? I know what I'm doing. I'm getting off this pod. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Art Spot Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry III. Before we get out of here, I will give y'all my Dead or Alive. Now, what is Dead or Alive? Dead or Alive is a segment on the podcast where me or the artist gets to choose artists that we would like to work with that is dead or alive. Now, we can choose one artist. We can choose 100 artists. This is my podcast. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to choose Miss Knowles. Miss Tina Knowles. I'm going to choose Druski. I'm going to choose Big Boy. I'm going to choose Sway. That's going to be my fourth. Thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of the pod. You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III if you want. And you can follow the podcast on Instagram at Arts Block Podcast. You have to do that, though. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast that is on YouTube. If you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. But most importantly, share. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell an auntie about the Art Spot Podcast. Yeah, remember, artists never die. I love you. God loves you. Do something that you love every single day. Do it mean, do it purpose, do it passion, do it well. Oh, I almost forgot. What is the message of the day? The message of the day comes from the one and only J. Cole. There's no such thing as a life that's better than yours. Love yours, baby. You got to love yours. I see y'all when I see y'all, boys. Peace and love. I am out.